Oh, welcome back to the Matrix. And it's the Matrix. You are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger. Daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button so other people can spam that like button. Let's get this party started, y'all. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at $70,885. We had a massive pump this morning. Now, it was a crazy, the 5-hour chart has officially flipped bullish on the MACD. This is the first time in combination with it flipping bullish on the moving averages on the 5-hour chart for months and months and months. We've been talking a lot about it following this fractal perfectly, and yet again, it is still following this. So we are right along pace, and I would expect it to continue to march along into kind of a grueling its way up, higher high, higher low. That's basically what it's doing. And, you know, I want you guys to think about all of the narratives that have been happening here. We had the war, we had the oil spike, they just blew up something in Texas, and nothing. It doesn't matter. There's no event that's taking place right now that's sending the price lower. And why is that? Well, because selling exhaustion is here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. Now, we put out, I think this is the tweet. Nope. We put this out over the weekend because I thought that this was going to flip on the weekend. I thought I was going to flip bullish on Saturday or Sunday, but we had a bit of a false break, if you will. We can see this. So I thought it was going to flip bullish right here. We had a bit of a false break. Came down a little bit lower before actually flipping bullish on the 5-hour MACD. And you can see we're actually picking up momentum. So I tweeted this out a bit early, probably like 2 days early. But we saw the same narrative, though, even though it was on Monday when it actually happened. I said ETH and Bitcoin will likely flip bullish on the 5-hour MACD tonight or tomorrow, resulting in a scam weekend pump. Now, again, admittedly, this is about 2 days early because it kind of preemptively falsely broke positive before pulling back a little bit before actually breaking positive. So people were calling this a scam pump on Monday, even though we literally said that it would be a scam pump on the weekend. It just happened a little bit early. So what do I think is next? Well, we've perfectly done exactly what I thought. Where we would break higher and then back test the 200. This is exactly what happened over here when we impulsively leave the 100 moving average, which is the light blue. You impulsively leave it. You go up to another leg higher, and then you back test the prior range. You back test the prior range before meandering your way higher. And that's basically what I think is next, is that we're going to basically meander our way higher here. And if I were to pull like a new fractal and show you like what's the updated target and what do I think is going to happen, you know, factoring in that how we've been perfectly following this, this is basically it right here. If I were to stretch this out, this is exactly what is happening thus far. And boom, bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So I pulled this directly from the 100 up to the 200. This is what we've been talking about. And we can see our way meandering on to 78K. Now, when we look at the liquidity, New York Stock Exchange, flex on these hoes and let them know that this is not a scam pump. Okay, look at this liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beautiful thing. Magnificent, some would say. Beautiful, wonderful, magnificent. Look at this liquidity to the upside. Is there liquidity downside? Like, sure. But look at this. Look at how bright red this is all the way up. Okay? And you look on the 2-week, it's even crazier. There is just a crazy amount of liquidity for Bitcoin, for Ethereum to the upside. And I just think that what I've been saying all along, I've been saying it since February. I've been buying publicly. I've been buying since the beginning of February. I think that the bottom is in for Ethereum. I feel certain about that. I think that there's a decent chance that the Bitcoin bottom is in. I've been more open-minded to us flipping or sweeping the lows, but the more that time goes on, the less likely that I think that that is as well. So, you know, and when you go back through the last 5 years as well, the only time we've ever even flipped bullish that I could find. So flipping bullish, just for a reference, this is bearish posture right here. What is bearish posture? What am I talking about when I'm referring to this? You have the 200 moving average on top of the 100, on top of the 50, on top of the 20. That's the most bearish posture. That would be 6 out of 6 bearish. And then when you flip, it would be 200 on bottom, 100, 50, and then 20. Okay. The only time that I can even find, so if I'm painting the most bearish case possible, the only time that I could find in the last 5 years where we went from full bearish on the 5-hour chart to flipping bullish was right here. Even so, we made a $10,000 move before making another leg higher or another leg lower. We made a $10,000 move going from $86,000, to $97,000, $13,000 move before making a new leg. I don't think that this is going to happen because I keep seeing bear flags. It's like, how long does this go? Like you get a bear flag, into a bear flag, into what? A bear flag again, into what? A bear flag again? Like when does it stop? Does it just keep bear flagging to zero? Is that what they think is going to happen here? Are we just going to keep bear flagging all the way to zero? Because at what point does it actually deviate? Because like literally, this is all it's going to do until zero. Is that what they're making the case of? Because like it will always have this formation to negative $10,000. This formation will exist unless you do Wyckoff accumulation, which is a bottoming structure. What do you need for Wyckoff accumulation? Well, you need volume to show up. Okay, do we have any volume? Is there volume? Is the volume in the room with us right now? Or are we going to bear flag our way to zero? Do we have volume that showed up already? Or are we bear flagging our way to zero? Ah, here it is. Volume. The highest amount. The highest amount. The highest amount. Since we broke out back in November of 2024, we have not had this much volume since November of 2024. In fact, I don't think we've had this much volume since August of 2024 with the Japan rate cut fiasco. Volume speaks volumes. I've said it once, I'll say it again. To me, April crash 2025 was our Luna. April equals Luna of 2022. This February, crazy amount of volume equals FTX spring. That is what I think. Does it mean off to Neverland from here? No. It does not mean that. And one of the main reasons I think this is because look at Ethereum. Ethereum tells the truth. Again, major bullish divergence here where we see the April lows for Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes lower, 13% lower. Ethereum puts in a higher low. Has that ever happened before? While Bitcoin has a record amount of volume, has that ever happened before? Oh, right. 2022. The exact same thing happened. Bitcoin goes 13% lower. Ethereum from the FTX collapse from the Luna collapse to the FTX collapse was 23% higher. From this point to this point, Ethereum is 23% higher. just like it is from this point to this point. There was a crazy amount of volume here and here, just like there is a crazy amount of volume here and here. Everyone, the popular take right now says, dude, we must be in a bear market. You have like 300 likes. That's right, guys. Spam that like button. Hit that share so other people can spam the like button. Let's get this up to 50,000 likes. We'll do a giveaway. High ski, 9 out of 10. Fantastic. Are you going to go back to the oil rigs? Bro, I never worked on the oil rigs, my brother. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? I've been doing this full time since 2024. I've been in crypto since 2015. I've been financially free for a long time. I was financially free before I could even get out of the army. That's a crazy feeling. That's a crazy feeling. Being in the army, you don't want to work there anymore, and you literally legally cannot leave. You have to show up even if you're financially free, even if it's not what you want to do. That was a crazy feeling for me from like 2021 through 2024. No. I'm not going back to the oil rigs. I never worked at the oil rigs. What I will be doing is buying crypto, just like I've been since the beginning of February publicly. And is anyone still convinced that my silver call was wrong? By the way, skis are permeable, even though silver was my fourth largest position, my favorite thing to buy. I sold at $107 publicly. And people said I was silly. That happened IRL. Silver just keeps getting crushed, bro. It keeps getting crushed, dog. It keeps getting crushed. Why? Because I don't care what they're doing. I said I have no interest in buying this until we get back into the 50s. We are close. I said that at 107. I said it at 120. But ski. What about the scheduled? I saw your video. 3.5 year cycle. Square it. Square it. 3.5 squared. Times 2. Not squared. Times 2. Solely giveaway. Make sure you guys spam that like button, hit the share so other people can spam that like button. First round of staking is almost complete. How much hit does it take if you unstake early? Does it play time factor? Yes, it's like a slasher method, Cole. So the closer you are to your expiration, the less penalty you pay. Like if I stake for 90 days and I unstake on day 1, I'm going to pay a huge penalty. Whereas if I unstake on day 89, I'm still going to be in the profit. If you had to pick Solnic or Dis, what would you pick? I don't need to pick. I'm DCing into both. I don't need to pick. Bitcoin might bottom, but not alts. See, that's a popular opinion. I disagree. I think that Bitcoin actually is the one that's less likely to have bottomed than the altcoins, actually. Again, I say to you, 2022, right here, Bitcoin during the Luna collapse, June 2022, from the Luna collapse to the FTX collapse, was down 13%. Ethereum bottomed here. XRP bottomed here. Quant bottomed here. Like 80% of cryptocurrencies bottomed here. Bitcoin bottomed here. Ski, can we copy your trading in real time on the Telegram? Yes. Not only, yes. So I don't do like actual literal copy trading, but I do, like, you can manually copy me. Like, I will call out, what is the entry? What is the exit? What am I holding through? What am I looking at? So I don't do literal copy trading where it automatically does it for you, but you can manually copy me. And I do call out exactly what I'm doing, when and why. And for the month of March, right now we are up $33,000. We have 12 winning days, 3 losing days, and 7 flat days. For the month of April, we had 19 winning days, 3 losing days, plus 46,000 net profit, 72,000 gross, negative 25,000 losses for a net profit of 46,000. So yes, in the Telegram, we live trade Monday through Friday. We call out exactly what I'm thinking, why, what I'm looking for, all that. Is VeChain going to see an all-time high? I think so. At least 10 cents. Like 10 cents is more than enough to be more than enough. I'm still stacking VeChain. I think it's a good accumulation here. I think so. I think so. By the way, Ethereum again is violently reacting with this trend line that's been at play since 2022. Here's the deal. There's a huge gap up here between 28.7 and 2900. No trading in there. CME gap. Sooner or later, that's going to get hit. And this is the first time on the 5-hour chart that we flip bullish on the MACD, on the moving averages, where the 200 is on bottom for a long time. Both of these happening at the same time. Has not happened. I don't think it fully flipped over here, actually. For a brief moment it did, but it wasn't with the MACD at the same time. But before that, I think was the April. I think it was literally the April bottom. Yeah. So the last time the MACD and the moving averages went from bearish to bullish and flipped bullish at the same time was the April bottom. Now, it wasn't a straight line. I need you guys to understand. We did have nice movement from there, right? You went from 1400 to 1800 and then back tested. And then you kind of staircased your way up there. You went from 1800 up to 2500. You had a big crash down to 2100. So it's not a straight line, right? But to me, this is kind of where we're at. What's your prediction on DIS? I don't know that I can legally give a prediction on DIS because I created it. But I think that it can do crazy numbers. There's like 10 on Bitcoin, one at 106, 103, 97, 93. Yeah. And the liquidity is crazy right now, to be honest with you. Like, I'm very excited for the liquidity to the upside right now. Very, very excited. Joe, I don't know what you're saying. Solana prediction, 420. When we break in 100K? Probably in the summertime. I said in February, I think that there will be a noticeable shift in energy. Not necessarily in price, but trend in April. I think we're getting very close to that. Like, we've basically been on an uptrend since February. Literally, we have. And so the way that crypto goes, if you're new to crypto, and I don't want to give anyone hopium, but this is a clear uptrend here, right? So from February 5th, 59.9, it's just been 62, 63, 65, 67, right? All the way. The highs, 69, 73, 75, right? So I think either the next high or maybe the one after that. Maybe we need to do this little dance 2 more times. Maybe we do something like this. Maybe we go up to 78. Maybe we come back to, 69 and then that one. But eventually it gets to this place where it just gets overheated too fast. And that's probably going to happen. So I don't know that we're just going to rip straight to 100. But I could see us ripping straight to like 85 or 90, right? And maybe we just blast right through this. I think that there's going to be resistance here for sure. But I do think that the next like medium term move is to the 85Ks. And then this will firmly reclaim that. I think that some people will start to pivot, but to your point, realistically, most people are not going to believe in the rally or in anything until we're at 100K. And it's like, by that point, you pretty much have missed your gains, to be honest. Like, because Ethereum got to what? 17.4. By the time Bitcoin's at 100K, Ethereum's probably at 3,500. And then what's it going to do? Go to 7,200? Like you already missed it. That's realistically what's going to happen. Is no one is going to believe in anything until we're at 100K. And by 100K, it's like, it's already probably too late at that point anyways. And then by that point, you could make a realistic case that like, hey, that was our retrace. And if you want to say we're going to come back to, like here's a painful route that no one's really ready for. What if you do this little squiggly here? Maybe you get overheated. Maybe it just goes too crazy up to 100K and then back to 75K. Who's ready for that? Realistically, people aren't going to be buying back in until here. And then they're going to be wrecked again. And then they're going to be pissed here. They're probably going to sell the bottom again. Just like they did over here. Or over here. And then it'll probably do one of these numbers. So who's ready for that? That sounds exciting. Up to 100K, back to 75. That'll be fun. Inflation rising. And you think that that is bad for Bitcoin? Friend, tell me, the thing that Bitcoin is created to solve, why is it rising a bad thing? Please explain that to me, because my brain's having a hard time understanding. I tell you what, though, Bitcoin is up 34% against gold since the war started. I kept hearing about how bad the Bitcoin is, or how bad the war is for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 34% against gold since the war started. You get to a place, this is what's called selling exhaustion. Because what is it going to take? World War III happens. Bitcoin puts in a higher low. The oils get shut down. The Hormuz. The gas prices are skyrocketing. Bitcoin puts in a higher low. Like, what event is it going to take logically, practically, where the price of Bitcoin even matters. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency realistically have led the equities market. And they're already well past selling exhaustion, in my opinion. Stock market crash can trigger it lower. Can it? Because Bitcoin's outperforming the stock market right now. The stocks are down since the war started. Bitcoin is up. The stock markets already have been crashing. They're generally, I agree with you, if you want to say that they generally trade together, I agree. However, I think that it's pretty clear that crypto has been leading what the actual move is. I don't think that it's just off the Neverland for crypto. That's not what I'm predicting. I think it's more like 2023. But I think that the Ethereum bottom is in. I think the XRP bottom is in, 1741. I think the top for silver has been in. I've said that since $107. Publicly, video evidence. I said the top of silver is in. I am selling my silver here. For the love of God, take profit on silver. I don't care what they tell you. Like, how many people call me an idiot for that? They say I'm a permabull. Silver was my 4th largest position in my overall portfolio. I took profit. And here we are. Here we are. So listen, this has been crashing. Like, what are we talking about right now? This has been crashing since the war started. Back in February. Like, what are we talking about? This already made a new low. What are we talking about, fam? This is down 10% since the war started. Bitcoin is up. Do you understand 10% is like, that's about as bad as it gets? Generally? Like, can it go lower? Sure. Like, it's not a meme coin. It already has been crashing. That's a crash for the stock market. What are we talking about? Do you think we're in the same place as March of 2022? I think more like January of 23 is where I think that we're at. So, okay, if you just joined the stream, here is like one really strong piece of evidence, not the piece necessarily, but so I am a big Wyckoff person. And you mentioned Wyckoff distribution, redistribution. To me, we are deep in accumulation. And I think this because of the volume, for one thing. You know, if you're a Wyckoff student, that you know that volume speaks volumes, okay? So we had the highest volume in over 16 months. Not only that, it immediately got bought back with the same volume and the same candle. This was massive, okay? That is evidence number one. Number two, I don't think that many people are making this case here. This is my thesis, though. Right, wrong, or indifferent, this is my opinion. This is not a popular opinion, and I'm grateful for it. Let me get a better chart, actually. Let me get a different chart. Here we go. This is not a popular opinion by any stretch of the imagination. I think if you want to say that euphoria, like this was not euphoria. If you want to tell me that we had euphoria, it would have to be here. This was like the only bit of euphoria. This is when memes were going crazy. Okay? To me, April tariffs, that is June of 2022. Now, it's not potato, potato. It's not the exact 1-to-1. But this, to me, was our selling climax. And this, to me, was our spring with the volume. Now, in 2022, we'll look from Luna going to 0, which is right here, to FTX going to 0, which is right here. Bitcoin crashes an additional 13%. Okay. From the April crash to the February crash, April 25, February 26, Bitcoin crashes another 13%. Okay, that's another piece of evidence, perhaps. How about Ethereum? Does Ethereum have crazy volume showing up? I think so. Well, did Ethereum give us a bullish divergence? Was Bitcoin lower? Did Bitcoin go lower while Ethereum started putting in higher lows? Yes, that happened. In 2022, we already established Bitcoin went 13% lower. Well, how much higher from wick to wick was Ethereum from the Luna collapse, which was the bottom for Ethereum, the selling climax for Ethereum, for the whole market, but the selling climax, to the spring? Ethereum, while Bitcoin was down 13%, Ethereum was up 23%. Okay, interesting. How much? Again, Bitcoin is down 13% from what I'm hypothesizing is the selling climax to the spring. Ethereum, during the April crash, went all the way as low as $1,400. We'll round. I don't know exactly. What is the exact wick? $1,389. Okay, to the February crash, you're never going to believe. So from Luna to FTX was 23%. From April, from Bitcoin from Luna to FTX was 13% negative. From April to February was 13% negative. Guess what Ethereum is up from the April crash? I pulled it wrong. It's 23%. Come on, bro. Jesus. From wick to wick. Boom. Come on now. Come on now. Also, I have just been nonstop just seeing this right here. I'm going to buy the scheduled October 2020. My entire crypto Twitter is this right here. And it just I'm just seeing nothing but bear flags, nothing but gay flags. See you at 40K. See you in October, scheduled bottom. See you at 38K. See you at 30. That's all I'm seeing on Twitter. I keep seeing like, so we saw the pump this morning. It's like, who's buying this? Not retail. Not retail. Retail is not buying. Retail has not been buying. Retail will not be buying until we're at 100K. It's usually a shakeout. It's also at the selling climax in the spring. Yes, reaccumulation, that's true. It's also at the selling climax and a spring. Volume is an indicator of a selling climax and a spring, especially when you get rebuy. Look, I'll show you. I don't need to like prove it to you. I'll just show you. I don't need to tell you. I'll show you. Where'd my volume go? Bro, come on, man. Hold on. Damn it. Every time I need my volume, it wants to disappear on me. Give me my volume back. Give me back my son! Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't know what the hell. Come on. All right. Hopefully that shows up in a second. Normally it will disappear for a little bit and then it will just magically show back up. We will show it when it shows back up. I don't know where my volume went. Get back here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. But whenever it shows back up, I will show it to you. But the same thing. You can see the candle here during FTX. I'll show you the candle. You had a huge sell candle with the buyback volume candle. Same thing with the Luna collapse. The selling climax. You had the exact same thing. Huge selling candle, immediate buyback. The candle, the volume is also equal. Just like it was with April, just like it was with February. The exact same formation. I don't know. Bro, every time I go to show something specific about volume, it wants to do this BS. Let me refresh it one more time. I'm about to open up a new tab. Give me back my son. Okay. I guess we just don't have volume. We'll come back to it. Whatever. All right. Where's my snare? Ski, how much lifetime access? 88. You can message me on Instagram or TikTok. Is that Leroy Jenkins as your wallpaper? We have been entering a bullish economic environment now compared to 2023. Maybe. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an economics expert, because I'm not. I don't really pay attention to that. I just look for patterns in the charts. Sometimes I'm wrong. It happens, but like my track record, I think for the totality speaks for itself, good and bad. Even when you can factor in when I was publicly wrong, like back in December of 2025. When was the other time? There was a time in, I think it was in 2023, was an epic fail for me. Yeah, in 2023, it was bad where I was wrong, where I had the right move, but I was too married to my number here. Like I thought that we would go from 20K to 48K, which we did. And I thought we would come back to 35K. And I got greedy here. Like I thought that we would go to 48K, which we did. We went to 49K from 20K. And I thought we would pull back to 35K, which is dumb to get greedy here, but I did. So that was one of the times that I was like really publicly wrong. But because I was shorting in the market is what really happened. That was one of my biggest mistakes that I made. And that's why I don't short altcoins anymore, because that was one of the most times I was wrecked ever, especially on the public display. And then over here, I was wrong. But even so, like you factor in all the times I was wrong, all the times I was right, I think that my totality of my track record speaks for itself. Investors are buying bonds and selling risk assets. Okay, who? Look at the bonds chart. Okay. Let's see. It's broken out of accumulation. I don't know, brother. That looks like distribution to me. What are we talking about here? That looks like a markup. That looks like a buying climax. Look at the volume rising. I don't know if that looks like a breakout of accumulation here. I don't think so. Do Solana. Solana was the one that, what are we heading to? I think 80K in the medium term. Uh, 3 month to 1 year. I'm looking at the 10-year because that's my timeline. That looks like distribution to me. I don't care about 1 month. I don't care about 3 months. 10-year is what's running stuff. Who the hell's buying 3-month bonds? All right. Solana. Solana, listen, I really like Solana a lot. Fundamentally, I didn't have, people were like, why, when I put out my list of what I was accumulating at the beginning of February. So I've accumulated Bitcoin at the average price of about 63K rebuy. I've accumulated XRP about $1.30 rebuy. Again, last bear market, I accumulated at $22,000 for Bitcoin average price. Last bear market, I accumulated XRP about 33 cents. This was multiple bear markets, actually. That was about my average price. And so I rebought at those prices. I sold 40% of my XRP at $3.33 publicly. I sold all of my silver at $107 after accumulating at $20 publicly. That happened IRL. I accumulated for 8 years and then sold 100% of my silver at $107. And people said I was crazy. That happened. There's video evidence. Okay. So my rebuy average price right now on XRP is $1.30. My rebuy on Bitcoin is about 63, 64K, somewhere in there. That's my average rebuy back in. I'm still buying. So back to Solana. So I put out my list of what I was buying in early February because I said I'm pushing the chips forward. This happened. Right? February 24th, after I had already making a big stab on the February 5th crash. Said I'm pushing the chips forward. I will be DCAing 1% daily until the 15th. After the 15th, if a big event hasn't happened, which I think World War III starting was a big event, so I ramped it up to 3%. So there you go. I also have limit orders at 62K and 48K. So this is February 24th. I said this. So people were like, why is he not buying X? Here's my volume. It's back, baby. So why is he not buying Solana? And the answer is, I really like Solana fundamentally, but I didn't have as strong of a read on Solana where you could make a case that this is distribution. You can make a case that it was so hot that it had more to give back, right? So I wasn't accumulating it because I didn't have as strong of a read as I did on Ethereum, as I did on Bitcoin, as I did on XRP. That being said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if Bitcoin has bottomed, I think most likely Solana is going to be moving right along with it. I just thought, if I look strictly based on the Solana chart, there's more to give back here. And there still technically is. Like, there's no trading here in between. Well, there's a little bit now. Like, I can move this down because there's a little bit, right? But when we're talking about over here, but if I pull this down now, there's no trading here. And I didn't like that as part of what I was investing in right now. So there's no trading between $68 and $48. I didn't like that. I don't like it when there's gaps in the market like that. So that's still a risk. However, I think if Ethereum has bottomed and if Bitcoin has bottomed and they start kind of grueling their way higher, I think Solana is going to do the same thing. But that specifically, when you just look at the chart on Solana by itself, by its own merit, and I understand it's complex and there's nuance and they're going to do things differently, or they're going to basically go together. When you look at it through the nuance lens of that, like Solana has probably bottomed as well, especially when you look at the volume here as well. But I just didn't personally like this gap right here. If it just like had a flash liquidation and just ripped the Band-Aid off, I would be more willing to add Solana. But by itself, Solana, I think that that's a risk. However, if you look at the totality of the market, I don't think it's really as much of a risk for Solana. Hopefully that answers your question. But to answer your question, like I like Solana fundamentally. I have no problem taking payment in Solana. I think Solana is a solid project, but it does have more downside risk. Whereas like, I don't think Ethereum does. And I don't even like Ethereum. Like I'm just purely looking at value, ROI, risk to reward. I think that there is a bit more risk potentially with Solana. It doesn't mean it needs to do it, but there is a bit more potentially with Solana than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Solnik is, I've been buying since the beginning of February publicly, DCAing every day. I'm still buying every day. What's the price target for ETH? I think ETH still gets to 7,200. I think Sol gets to 420. The price of silver is dropping again. Good profit on your silver. Uber guy, was you here when I was like, for the love of God, take profit on silver? Somebody's got to be my witness, man. Like on everything, bro. I said at $107, please. Like my call was bad for 3 days. Right here is when I said it. This candle, 107 is when I went to and cashed in my silver. All of it. And I publicly stated it. So we got 1 candle, 2 candle, a 30. 1, 2, 3. How many licks does it get to the center of the top, Tootsie Pop? 1, 2, 3. The world may never know. 3 days. I feel like everyone will sell once it hits 5K again. Are you talking about Ethereum? What about VeChain? I think VeChain easily gets to 10, 20 cents. Okay, let's think through this practically, logically here. So fundamentally, I agree with you. Like people are so fed up, right? So like on a practical level, a practical sense, I think that that's probably right. A lot of retail would sell at those prices. However, it doesn't take into account the power of FOMO. And so like, I think when we stand here today, when ETH is sitting at, what is it at? 2140. Yeah. We stand here today, ETH is sitting at 2140. I think that's a logical and rationale, and even a decent place to de-risk, honestly. It's gotten rejected there multiple times. However, once that's a double. That's more than a double. And what happens every time when that happens is people deviate from their plans. They just do. They have a plan. They have a magic number on when they're going to sell. They say, if I sell here, I can pay off my debt. and I can buy a new car. And then we get to those prices and they say, well, actually, I want a new house too. And they move the goalpost. That's what happens in reality. So practically, when we stand here at 2140, I think that that's a practical rationale. I don't know that the institutions would do that, but I do think that retail would have that rationale. But then once we actually get there, are they actually going to? Probably not. I think they will convince themselves it's going to go higher. And it probably will. And then when we get to 72, they'll convince themselves it's going to 10. Maybe we get to 10, they'll convince themselves it's going to 20. Maybe we go to 12, they'll convince themselves it's going to 20, and then that's it. I still think it hit 72. That's still, it never went into price discovery, which was confusing, but also at the same token, like, that's why Ethereum has performed relatively a lot better than Bitcoin. Like, it has not made a new low from April. April, Ethereum was at $1,400. The lowest that it got was $1,741. Bitcoin made a new low. And the reason for that, I think, is Ethereum never went into price discovery. This is just a big retracement, realistically. That's all that this is over here. And so it sets up for people get exhausted, and maybe they do. Maybe when we get to 4K and retail sells there. And then maybe it actually does set up for a 12K run. Time frame, Wind Moon. Soon. Whenever. Sometime, I guess. Eventually, for sure. Wind Moon, bro. Sui. Sui's not you, Siri. Go away. Go away. If that's your plan, Logan, stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your plan and stick to it. That's the best piece of advice that I can give you and everyone. Make a plan now, and when it gets there, stick to it. How much ETH do you hold? Enough. I trade ETH every single day. So, for the month of February, every single day we were trading Ethereum, we net profited $46,000. And for the month of March, every single day trading Ethereum, we net profited so far $33,000 with 12 winning days and 3 losing days. All right. Is $2 flux realistic? $2 flux is very realistic. Sui. Okay. No, Siri, go away. Not you, bro. All right. I get why they call it Sui now. I understand. I'm calling it Sui from forever on now. Sui! Here's the deal. Sui is not my cup of tea. That's why they call it the debate between Sui and Sui. It's because the Apple product is listening. That's why people call it Swoo or Sui. That's why people call it. What about Swoo? Is anybody ready for Swoo? That's what it is. It's Swoo. All right. Here's my thoughts on Swoo. It's not my cup of tea. I was a big proponent on people taking profit on Swoo back in 2024, 2025. I was begging people to take profit. I publicly called the top on Swoo. That happened. Not the top, but the near the top. It's not my cup of tea. However, I do think that the value here, I do think where it was in distribution in 2024, 2025, I think it's in accumulation. And I think if it's your cup of tea, which it's not mine, it has a little bit too much inflation for me personally. But I think if it's your cup of tea, I think the chart is in good value at this point. That doesn't mean that I'm going to add a position to it because, again, it's not really my thing. However, chart-wise, I think it's in a good value for accumulation here. Do you think we see 3-digit ETH? No, I do not. I think, and I've said this, sweet trash. My guy Ski, what's up, bro? I've said this since February. Did I say this before February? No. I've said this since February, like 12th, publicly. 1741. I am 93.7% sure was the bottom for Ethereum. 1741. I do not think we go lower. I think the bottom for Ethereum is already in. I definitely don't think that we take out this April low. And I'm pretty confident that we don't take out this low over here. 17. Look at this volume right here. You have a crazy amount of sell volume followed by an immediate buyback. That is bullish as hell. That's what a bottom looks like. Okay? It happened right here too, by the way. It happened right here too, by the way. It happened right here too, by the way. That's bullish as hell when that happens. I don't think that I think 1741, that's it. Period. And I've been one of the biggest ETH haters known to man. I think the bottom is in for Ethereum. I do not think we ever see 3-digit ETH again. Ever. Ever. Forever, ever? All right, guys. Reminder. You guys want lifetime access to the Telegram. This is the month of March so far. We're up $33,000 profit right now for the month of March. 12 winning days, 3 losing days, and we were on vacation, bro. We went on vacation, dog. If you guys want lifetime access to that, you can hit me in the DMs. For the month of February, we net profited $46,000, 19 winning days, 3 losing days. If you guys want lifetime access to the Telegram where we live trade, it's not entertaining. I call out my buys, my sells, take profit, stop loss. If I hold through, if I push through, what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking it, all that stuff. So you guys want lifetime access to that, you can hit me in the DMs. If you guys want to book a consultation with me, you can do that on my Calendly. That also comes with lifetime access. That can be an entry strategy, exit strategy, trading strategy, whatever suits your needs. Do you day trade or hold for longer? Yes. 90% of my portfolio is HODL. I just realized my light died back there. All right. 90% of my portfolio is HODL. 10% is trading. It's exit only, though. All right, guys. That's going to be it. VeChain, yeah, I'm buying VeChain here. That's going to be it, though, for this time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will, never message you first. Those are scammers. If you message me, I will message you back. If you're asking about the Telegram, whatever, I'll message you back and tell you how you can do that. But I'm never going to message you first. That's how you can know. I'm never going to message you first and asking for money. It's not me. I will be live tomorrow, roughly the same time. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless. I'm out of here.